Genesis 19, chapter 24, verse 24, says, Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah, brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. How do you interpret that?
I interpret that as saying that God, that the verse wants you to know that the whole thing was God doing it, and no part of that was not God. And therefore, God is raining it down, and even though God's raining it down, you might think, so God's doing something down here? No, God's up there.
Now, Josh, the Jew, is kind of getting it, what the passage is talking about, that the Lord who is on earth is raining fire and brimstone from heaven where he is, that he is on earth and heaven at the same time. What he doesn't understand is that there are two Lords. He doesn't agree that it's one on earth and one in heaven. But Genesis 19:24, και Κύριος έβρεξεν επί Σόδομα και Γόμορα θείον και πυρ παρά Κυρίου εκ του ουρανού, by the side of the Lord out of heaven. Και κατέστρεψεν τις πόλεις τούτας και πάσαν την παροικίαν και πάντα τους κατοικούντας εν τις πόλεσιν και πάντα τα ανατέλλοντα εκ της γης. Destroyed everything around. You don't believe me? That it's saying that the one Lord who was on earth rained down fire and brimstone while in heaven on the right side of the other Lord? Let's see. Genesis 13:18. Και αποσκηνώσας Αβραμ ελθόν κατόκισεν παρά την δρύν την μαύρη. So Abraham tented and came and dwelled by the oaks of Mamre. And Hebron, και οκοδόμησεν εκεί θυσιαστήριον Κυρίω. So he built an altar to the Lord, an altar of sacrifice. Who is this Lord, Kyrio, with omega at the end? Psalm 110:1. Το Δαβίδ ψαλμός. Είπεν ο Κύριος το Κύριό μου, κάθου εκ δεξιών μου. So the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right. Το Κύριό μου. That's who Abraham built the altar to. Genesis 19:1. Ήλθον δε οι δύο άγγελοι εις Σόδομα, εσπέρας Λότ δε εκάθητο παρά την πύλη Σόδομον. So Lot was sitting by the gate of Sodom. Not with by. Genesis 22:17. Ημίν ευλογών ευλογήσωσε και πληθύνω το σπέρμα σου, ως τους αστέρας του ουρανού και ως την άμμον την παρατοχύλος της θαλάσσης, και κληρονομήσει το σπέρμα σου τας πόλεις των υπεναντίων. As the sand, the one by the edge of the sea, by the lips of the sea, the hilos, the lips, the edge. Genesis 19:24. Και Κύριος έβρεξεν επί Σόδομα και Γόμορα θείον και πυρ παρά Κυρίου εκ του ουρανού, by the side of the Lord out of heaven. John 1:1. Logos in pros ton Theo, and the word was with God. Now here it doesn't use the word para, it used the word pros, and we'll see why it mentions pros instead of para later. Και Theos in o Logos, and God was the word, and the word was God. John 20:17. Γάρα ανεβέβηκα προς τον πατέρα, for have I ascended to the Father? Not toward the Father, pros. John 16:28. Και πορεύουμε προς τον πατέρα, and I go to the Father, in the presence of the Father, face to face with the Father. John 8:38. Εγώ εόρακα παρά το πατρί, I have seen by the side of the Father. 1 John 1:2. It is in προς τον πατέρα, which was toward the Father, face to face with the Father, in his presence. John 17:5, the glory that I had before the world is or existed with you. What glory? The glory he had before the world was, is, that I had with you, parasu, by your side. Proverbs 8:30. Ημίν παρά αυτό αρμόζουσα. Εγώ ήμουν η προσεχέριν και κάθε ημέραν δε εφρενόμεν εν προσώπο αυτού εν παντή καιρό. So I was by his side of him, and I was glad, I rejoiced in his presence of him at all time, in all time. Εν προσώπο αυτού εν παντή καιρό. And what does Proverbs say? That he came forth from wisdom, from ancient times, from everlasting. Made him the head of his ways for his works. And his exits are exits of life. His issues, but his exits are exits of life. Which exits? Micah 5:2. From out of you to me shall come forth the one being for ruler of Israel. And his going forths were from the beginning. His exits, η εξόδη του, ex imeron eonas, out of the days of the eon, out of the days of time. So he is outside of time, outside of creation, with God. Dwelling where? Well, dwelling with God. John 1:18. In the bosom of the Father. The one who is in the Father, the On, who alone reveals him, explains him to mankind. Jesus himself identifies as the wisdom of God. In Luke 11:49, on account of this, also the wisdom of God said, I will send unto them prophets and apostles, and of them they will kill and drive out. That should be required the blood of all the prophets. In Matthew 23:34, Jesus says, on account of this, behold, I send to you prophets and wise men and scribes, and of them you shall kill and crucify. So all the blood of the prophets. If you continue reading on, it's the same context. So Jesus identifies himself as the wisdom of God. So the wisdom of God was with God, by the side of God, from the beginning, before creation, before time, dwelling in God, that was born out of him. Psalm 110 verse 3. Μετά σου η αρχή εν ημέρα της δυνάμεώς σου, εν της λαμπρότης των Αγίων σου, εκ γαστρός προ έως φόρου, εγέννησά. With you is a sovereignty in the day of your power, with the brightness of your holy ones. From out of the womb, before creation, I have begotten you. I have born you out of me. And Jesus in the New Testament over and over says that he came out of God into this world.